What's up? I'm back at it again with another Zelda OST review. That's right, we're going over Wind Waker this time. So, it's been 20 years now since it first came out, and even to this day, I'm still taken back by not only how good of a game it is, but how amazing of a soundtrack it has. So whenever it released, it wasn't necessarily met with the highest of critical acclaim. In fact, a lot of people didn't like it because of its graphics. Well, here we are years later, just about 2 decades actually, and public opinion has shifted, so now I can gush about its music free of ridicule. At least I hope. But The Legend of Zelda has always done an amazing job at capturing the adventuring mood through its music, and this one does it better than most. So sit back, relax as I go through a bit of background, a few tracks, some Easter eggs, so that way we can better appreciate the beauty that is this game's soundtrack. So who else can we thank but the Diddy legend himself, Mr. Koji Kondo? But it wasn't just him. In fact, he was only one of 4 different composers that contributed to this OST. Kenta Nagata, Hajime Wakai, and Toru Minageshi, all of which are industry vets and a few I've actually talked about before. But they went absolutely nutty on this one. Though a few of the tracks do sound a lot like Koji Kondo's previous works, it's the interpretations that they bring to the table that I love. Interpretations that clearly and cleverly take from traditional Irish folk music. And I've said it before, The Legend of Zelda is a series that has set the standard for capturing the adventuring mood through its tunes, and what better style to capture the mystery and fantasy of Hyrule than through a bunch of wind instruments, flutes, chimes, drums, just all coalescing together to bring images of magic, fairies, rolling green hillscapes, dungeons, castles straight to the forefront of your mind. Hell, even the title looks to be as if it's written in Gaelic script, and that's the kind of consistency that I love. Sadly though, at the time they weren't able to compress full orchestrated files onto the small GameCube discs, but the MIDI tech that they were using at the time had come far enough to where, for the most part, they could capture that Celtic feel that they were going for. Although this would be remedied about a decade later with the release of Wind Waker HD on the Wii U, where all of the original composers got to come in and update the soundtrack to a full orchestrated one. This being the first version that I ever got to experience it on. Now, if you got to experience the GameCube one first, I mean, kudos to you, but let me tell you, that Wind Waker HD soundtrack went nutty. So, I actually want to move on and talk about a few of my favorite references / Easter eggs, which also happen to be a few of my favorite tracks. Kind of a 2 goals, 1 pair situation, if you know what I mean. But for those of you who are big fans of the Wind Waker and also big fans of Ocarina of Time, I'm assuming you'll be able to catch a few of these callbacks within some of the tracks. For instance, Outset Island, being our starting point in the video game, is also a reworked version of the Kokiri Forest theme, fittingly enough. And I had no clue of this until researching this video, and I absolutely love the Kokiri Forest theme. So this one, I bet, is probably something that most are already aware of, but it's my video and one of my favorite tracks, and so, I'm gonna put it in there anyway. But Windfall Island's theme is actually a sped up version of Kakariko Village's theme. Now, this one's a little bit more apparent than the previous one, but hey, if you want to get all lore savvy like I do, you want to get all hot and bothered for some spicy details, one could speculate that because of this theme, that Kakariko Village, the original one, is at the base of Windfall Island beneath the waves. Or maybe it's just another callback like the previous one, but it's just something for you to chew on. So Forest Haven is actually my favorite part of the game, what with getting to hang out with the cutest little thing, Mikel, let me tell you, and just floating around with a giant Deku leaf, solving puzzles inside of a giant dead tree stump. Classic. But if you listen real closely, actually, if you listen just a little closer than usual, you can actually hear the title theme to Ocarina of Time, but pitched down. It sounds a little weird and ominous, but I'm pretty sure that was the intention. Not quite sure it was there to begin with, but honestly, a great little callback. So whereas Forest Haven is my favorite part in the game, this next one is by far my favorite reference as a whole. So when Tetra is finally revealed as Zelda by King Daphnes, this just cuts so deep because it's the same theme that plays when the Triforce pieces are coming together in the intro to A Link to the Past, much like the two little Triforce pieces that come together in front of King Daphnes and Zelda in this cutscene. Now, I could go on and on and on all day about my favorite tracks and their Easter eggs within them, but I'm not here for that. But if you are, go check out this YouTube video over here because they do an amazing job of going over all of the major references within the game. So I do have some honorable mentions. I'm not going to spend too long on them, but here's a quick rundown of what really stuck out with me in order from least favorite to most. Okay, so Beetle Shop, because it's just a bop. It's a bop. My Grandma, because it kind of sounded like the Pokemon theme, not gonna lie. Who doesn't get a little teary-eyed for Link watching his Meemaw say bye-bye? Mini-boss theme. I mean, you tell me that don't remind you of the old Kakariko Village theme in Twilight Princess. Jaboon's theme. Literally has what sounds like a man busting them pipes out opera style, plus it's a reference to Jabu Jabu's belly, and I love that. But we kinda passed Easter eggs already. Farewell, Hyrule King. This one just hits for obvious reasons. The title theme. It's just so iconic at this point. Every time I hear it, I instantly feel the fresh, salty air of the sea and am blinded by the overexposed bloom. Ocean theme, which is by far my favorite track out of this whole game. It does everything to give that feeling of exploration on the high seas, and though Hyrule's oceans may feel a little barren at times, this banger makes those waves more than worth sailing. So whether you're just now getting into it or have spent the last 20 years playing it, this game and its soundtrack are absolutely timeless. I just hope with future installments we get the same bombastic quality that this game spoiled us to. But even with Koji Kondo taking a back seat with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, let this game be a ripe example of why not to worry. So, here's to another 20 years of solid appreciation for the Wind Waker and its music. So I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who watched till the end. This was definitely a labor of love, and I'm so glad I got to discuss this game's music with everyone who watched. So keep adventuring and keep on jamming.
Bye!